Is your small business growing? That's the question we address right here on the Grow Your Biz Show. It's where we interview strategic entrepreneurs who inform and inspire you on your solopreneur or small company journey. Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Grow Your Biz Show. Welcome to episode number 105 of the Grow Your Biz Show. I'm Paul Madsen, host of the program and the founder of GrowMedia.com. Phil, GrowMedia.com helps its small business clients to engage their customers better via the social media videos that we create. With me today is a very special guest. We are shooting in the northern Wisconsin tundra here today during the holidays, and so our schedule's a little goofy, but it's also pretty fun. And not only are we up north with a shoot, we have an out-of-state visitor, Phil Madsen. Welcome from Florida. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Good to have you here. All the way from Florida. They say, Paul, why are you not in Omaha? Why are you not interviewing an Omaha entrepreneur? Hey, baby, we're going global. So, Florida, Phil is the co-founder of Anytime Fitness in Port Orange, Florida. Is that correct?
Yes.
And we're going to talk a whole lot more about that. Again, welcome to the show. And I should say on the front end that this guest of the program has a little bit more unique bond with me than any other guest previous. He happens to be my big brother. So this will be fun. Remember that time? No. We won't go there. Phil, tell us. We're going to jump right in. What business are you in?
Well, you kind of give it away when your company name is Anytime Fitness. We are in the fitness business.
Right, but what else what's the big picture of that?
Well, there's a lot of gyms around, worldwide. There's everywhere. In our market, we've got 25 different competitors, different gyms. And what we're here to do is help people overcome their barriers to fitness success.
I'm going to dwell on that just a minute. As the viewers know, we always try to focus on that one benefit statement. And you said you help them overcome their barriers to
fitness success.
Well, and that's pretty important, isn't it? Isn't that the gist of the deal?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's very individualized. I mean, it's an easy thing to say, and it would work for any gym. We help you overcome the barriers to fitness success, but we try to be good at that. First of all, what does fitness success mean?
Right, very personalized.
And that's going to vary from every person has their own definition of fitness success. What do you want to accomplish? Why do you want to get in shape? You know, some people, I want to lose weight. Other people, I want to, get stronger. Other people is, well, I want to learn how to walk again. I want to get out of my beach chair. I can get into the chair, but I can't get up without help.
Right.
It just depends on who comes in the door. So that's the first thing, is to find out, what does fitness success mean to you?
Right.
And then, why haven't you accomplished that yet?
What's the barrier? Yeah.
Why are you here? A lot of times there's, we specialize in a specific market as well. We look at people age 50 and above.
Okay.
So you get somebody come in that maybe played football in high school and was a super athlete, or even college, and now they're so obese they can't even get out of the chair without help. They have this memory of
what I used to be.
Yeah, in athleticism. But why do they want to get? What are they trying to do? Do they want to get back to the athletic days? Do they just want to get out of the chair? It all depends. It just depends.
Right. Well,
but the barriers are, why did you not accomplish this? Well, I've been sitting at a desk for 40 years and overeating, and I've lost, all of the good things that I had when I was younger.
Right.
That's a barrier. So is it in his case diet? Is it the lack of activity? Somebody else, it might be just pure ignorance. I've been working out, forever, but I'm not making any progress. Well, what are you doing? So in that case, it might be a knowledge issue. They're very disciplined and they're very focused on maintaining a workout schedule, but they're doing the wrong things.
Okay.
So that might be a barrier.
Sure.
Other people, they'll join the gym and then not come.
Right.
In that case, willpower is a barrier. So.
Sure.
You can say we help people overcome their barriers to fitness success. That means nothing until we actually get to know the person.
Yeah, right. And I think that's some of your what makes you unique, which is the next question. First of all, why? Not first. Secondly, why are you in this business, and what makes Anytime Fitness at Port Orange unique?
Well, the unique part is pretty much what I just spoke about. I mean, and we just try to get really, really, really good at that. We constantly listen, we work, we read, we being staff,
Trainers and
yeah, fitness professionals. We work really hard at serving people well. That often means putting a lot of time into a client that most gyms aren't willing to do, but
Okay.
we will do it.
well, that's the
far
key,
as-
isn't it? If I'm a new, I mean, I can join a gym anywhere, but if this gym helps me, it feels like a place that they want to get to know me and really specifically serve me. Does that make all the difference?
Yeah, it does. You know, and the other part of it is too, not everybody's going to fit our gym. I mean, if you don't want help, if all you want to do is pay $10 a month to rent equipment someplace
Right.
and go in and work out on your own, you know, you'd be wise to choose that.
Right,
But if
right.
you're looking for help, if you've tried 3 or 4 other gyms before, and it's getting important now because now you're moving into the second half of your life, and the consequences of being out of shape are a lot greater
Right.
as you age than otherwise. It's more important. Fitness becomes more important the older we get.
Sure.
You know, and if you're willing and ready to be helped, then we are absolutely
So
the
your
gym
gym
for
is
you.
unique in that you have a number of trainers who really go through that process with individuals, with the
Exactly.
new members.
Yep.
How many trainers do you have on staff?
Well, we have a staff of 10.
Wow.
5 of them are trainers.
Okay, holy cow. And they bring all unique strengths and skills to the table, and you can probably match those people up pretty well with your incoming customers.
Well, all of our trainers are certified. You know, they all come in with their own college degrees and their fitness certifications. You know, we're fortunate in the market that we're in. There's a lot of gyms in the area, so there's a lot of trainers in the area.
Okay.
We happen to be the highest paying gym in town, so you know, we're able to recruit and retain, you know,
Sure.
the better trainers.
Well, that's the key, because I mean, a person can come and join the gym without using trainers too, right?
Yeah.
You rent the equipment, as you say. But I think your training kind of really helps make it unique and special, it sounds like.
Yeah, again, we're a gym for people who are looking for help, so it's important for us to have a staff that can do that.
Well, and
That
if I
can
have
provide
a
that.
barrier to getting in shape, getting fit, getting healthy, it's nice to have that available, I'm sure, because I've joined gyms before and quit gyms before, and to have that relationship, to have that helpful person there, I just think that'd be important.
Yep. And then in addition to the credentials that they walk in the door with, all of our trainers become functional aging specialists. That's an industry certification. And again, we specialize in the active aging market. And so all of our trainers are required to get that certification as well.
Sure.
And you know, we support each other in that, and we learn a lot from our clients as we work with them, and you know, share it back and forth with staff.
Sure. It
and so
sounds
on. So,
like that's another. I mean, you've talked about it a couple times, but the niche is that second half of life, the over 50 person as well.
yes.
So your staff is well tuned to that as well. Well, backing up a little bit, why would you buy a storefront and throw a bunch of equipment in it in this hyper competitive environment? Why would you get into the fitness and health business? What are you, nuts?
Maybe.
Yeah, well, that's usually the answer people have.
But you know, it just kind of came to us. We didn't come to it. It came to us.
What does that mean?
Well, Diana and I, my wife, you know, she and I run this gym together. We had a job in the past where we traveled a lot professionally for work, and we were getting fat and out of shape. So we started looking for a gym to join. We happened to choose Anytime Fitness because they have more locations than anybody else as a major brand.
As you travel around, you could go to those
Right,
individual
exactly.
spots, right? Okay.
And but we liked it. We liked the way it felt in those gyms. We liked the results we were getting. We enjoyed working out. And bit by bit, as we talked to other gym owners, it just kind of made sense to do it. So we did. It wasn't like
Do it being started your own?
yeah, become an Anytime Fitness franchisee and open up a gym.
But a lot of my show, a lot of the audience is in transition. They're maybe from a corporate career into their own business, or launching from their own solopreneurship business into the next level of having staff and things like that. I mean, tell us in your minds about the transition. You had a successful, it was your own business before.
Yep.
And why you decided to get into this business. You said it came to you, but tell us more, I mean, the thought process. I mean, a lot of our viewers are saying, should I jump? Can I jump? How do I jump? Tell us that thought process that went on with you.
Well,
and Diane.
We've always, we've never kept a job that we didn't like.
Well,
now, we did not leave the other job because we disliked it. We just found something that it seemed like, we were truck drivers. We were over-the-road truck drivers. Mm-hmm. For 10 years, we owned and operated a truck.
10 years. That's a long time.
And before that, Diane was an attorney. And before that, she was a registered nurse. And
she can't figure out what she wants to be when she grows up either, right?
Well,
now you have.
We've been growing up the whole time.
Okay.
It's just that
it's incremental.
We're a little unique in that way, but we don't think a lot about what career we want next and stuff. They kind of come to us. Before we were gym owners, we were truck drivers. Before truck drivers, you already heard, she was an attorney and a nurse. I was a computer guy, and before that, I was a stockbroker and financial planner, and before that, I was an auto mechanic. And both of us individually and together as a couple, when we kind of came into, these career things just kind of happen. They come along the way. We started using the gym at Anytime Fitness. We liked it. It looked like a good business opportunity, so we went for it.
Checked it out.
We just jumped in.
You bought a franchise?
Yeah.
Okay. And did they give you a laundry list of locations that you could possibly land in, or how did that work?
Well, we had to make that decision before we bought the franchise.
Okay, yeah.
And
did they say this one's available, this one's available, this one's available?
Yeah,
like
there were other territories available.
One that was acceptable to you.
Yeah, and we happened to own a vacation house in Florida.
Oh, okay.
And there was an open territory down there, so we opted to start there.
Perfect.
That's how we ended up in Florida. And also, we left winter behind.
Yeah, growing up in Wisconsin,
Yeah, and that was good.
It's all part of the mix, yes, the frozen tundra, as we've referred.
But the other part of it is, why are we in this?
Yeah.
It's because there's nothing else that we would rather be doing.
Wow.
We're old enough to retire. But that's the last thing I want to do. I can't even imagine not working. But this doesn't feel like work either. We get to help people. We get to be in an environment. That's the beautiful thing about the gym business is people are upbeat. Nobody joins a gym because they want to slow down or cut back.
Yeah.
They're all coming to improve themselves in some way.
Sure.
And they want to get better, and they're coming to actually act on that desire.
Sure.
It's really fun to be exposed to people like that all day long, instead of people who are looking for the easy way out or looking to complain or looking to blame somebody else or whatever. The people who join a gym are naturally upbeat, positive, successful people.
Goal-oriented, yeah.
If you look anywhere in the world, in any business, any domain, you will almost always find that somebody who is highly successful is also physically fit.
Interesting.
And the mindset that goes with producing good fitness results, it serves you exactly the same way in business or the ministry or whatever other domain in life you happen to be involved in.
Sure.
But the top producers in any field are almost always physically fit.
Interesting. Well, and a lot of us have had health situations in our families and realized that without your health, you don't have anything. I mean, that's your first step for everything else. And so it only makes sense that the high achievers are also high achievers on the health front as well.
Yeah, the health facilitates it after you have it, but to get it, to work out and exercise,
you see people have lost it, right?
Yeah, we want to, there's a part of us that likes to sit around and eat candy and watch TV. And people who give into that get those results.
Right.
But the people who are more driven towards success, they seem to have the willingness to, go to the gym and work out. They will push themselves. They'll try to improve. They'll try to build their strength and improve their balance. They'll improve their functional abilities. That discipline, that mindset that gets you fit is the exact same mindset that works in just about any other. What works in fitness works in life.
That makes sense.
And so, if you've got something going well in life and you're fit, maybe, or if you got something going well, maybe that's the discipline that helps you be fit. If you're fit, maybe it's all the same thing. It's all the same thing.
Well,
it's a mindset. It's absolutely a mindset.
And I go back to your very first thing about, what business are you in? You're helping me overcome my barriers. And you were talking about that
Exactly.
discipline, talking about the team environment, which helps you get that discipline. Discipline is a routine, right? Isn't that about? I mean,
Well, it's a habit.
A habit, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know, a routine or a habit comes out of routine. So
Yeah,
sure,
sure.
you know, there's any number of ways of talking about it.
Oh yeah. The most important is get out and do it. Which,
Yeah, show up
which
at
is
the gym 3 or 4 times a week,
Great, yeah.
and then when you're there, work hard and make your time count for something, and have a goal, have something in your mind that you're actually wanting to accomplish, so you can decide, you can measure your success.
Well, that's the
or
nice
failure.
thing about it. It's measurable.
And when you come up against failure, you know, I've got a goal. I want to lose 50 pounds in 6 months. And 6 months come and go and you're down 10 pounds, or maybe you're even up 10 pounds. What are you going to do with that failure conversation?
Yeah.
Are you going to give up? Are you going to quit the gym? Are you going to say, oh, this never worked for me? Are you going to examine your self-talk? Are you going to examine your behavior? That's what we talk about. That's the point at which we get to talk about the barriers.
Yeah.
And, you know, overcome your barriers to fitness success. What works in fitness works in life.
Okay.
To make progress in any domain, you need to be self-aware. You need to be, what are you telling yourself? What are you really doing, and why are you doing that? If you're able to look at yourself as the observer, then you can have a meaningful conversation. And that's the thing that a trainer will do.
Right.
They'll say, you know, why didn't, you know, we just had somebody, he was competing, and he won a white ribbon instead of a trophy in this contest he was in. He was all bummed out because, well, why didn't I get the trophy? And he said, well, because you didn't work hard enough.
Well, there you
We
go.
couldn't give you enough weight to lift because you weren't listening when we were trying to teach you about form. We couldn't give you a heavier weight because it wasn't safe.
Yeah.
And
right.
until we could do that, you know, you can't build your strength. And if you can't build your strength, then you're gonna get the white ribbon instead of the trophy.
The white ribbon.
So, but
Not a participation trophy.
he had to be willing to hear that.
Yeah, well,
and he had to be willing to have that white ribbon conversation. What are you going to do when you get the white ribbon?
You know, but so often, and this ties right into entrepreneurship as well. I mean, so often people talk about, well, I tried this path in starting a business and I hit my head against the wall. Then I tried this path. This guy, he tried one path and obviously it didn't work. Hopefully he's motivated to try a different path that'll work for him next time. But so often that persistence in entrepreneurship is what I hear from my guests on the show, is hitting their head here, moving their head here, iterating, changing, moving, pivoting. There's a million words for it, but that's important both in business and in health and in fitness.
Yes, we fail forward.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Speaking of such, a lot of our guests, or viewers rather, like to hear about backstories, and you told us a little bit about some of the different jobs and professions and careers you've had. You know, what advice do you have for people who are in a situation where, well, I could never do that, or I could never change, or I could never make this happen? You've had 5 or 6, 7 completely different careers from. I mean, take us through some of your old lives and old businesses.
Well, like I said, you know, I got out of high school. I joined the Army. I went to college with the idea of becoming a minister. I went to the seminary to learn how to become a minister. Decided no, I dropped out of that. I went instead into auto mechanics, and then after that,
Minister, auto mechanics. Those are so close. Interesting.
Well,
you know, and that's it's. But what I like about it is this story is that you weren't afraid to try different things and new things.
well, yeah, and I really wasn't. I've talked to a number of people. They hear my story, and how do you do that? How do you jump?
Sure.
And I don't really know the answer to that. It came kind of natural to me. But I can tell you this, you know, we talk about overcoming the barriers to fitness success, overcoming the barriers to career success or business success. I mean, if you're having that conversation, if you're wondering, how can I do this? How can I make this change? Should I make the leap or not? You're coming up against a barrier right there. And that's the point in which it's essential to listen to yourself. Take a minute. Let the words come. Just sit and meditate for 5 minutes on that question. And sit quiet. Ask yourself the question and see what comes up. Allow yourself to have a conversation with yourself about it. Is it fear that's holding you back? Is it the fear of, and then if it is, what kind of fear is it? Is it the fear of what other people think? Is it a fear of failure? Is it a fear of looking stupid? Is it a fear of success? You know, maybe you're conditioned to only be at a certain economic level, and you've got this part of you says, well, I can do better, but the other part says, I'd feel guilty if I do because money is evil. That's the way I was brought up. Well, if you sit quiet, long enough and just ask yourself the question and let the answers come, you will figure out what your barrier is, and then you can go to work on that.
What do you have to say to a person who's afraid to make those jumps?
Well, again, I would just listen to myself, let the fears come up and identify them.
Okay.
And then maybe once you know what they are, the first step in overcoming a barrier is to identify the barrier. And once it's identified, then you can speak back to whatever voice is inside of you telling you to not go. Now you can have a logical conversation with that instead of allowing your emotions. Because what most people will do is they get to feeling bad because they, well, I don't know if I can do this or not. Well, it feels bad. So they exit the conversation because it feels better to exit it.
Yeah.
But if you can be courageous and focused, and you can do this on your own in your own private room, you just sit and let the voices come, identify them, and then you can speak back to them. There's, there's cognitive distortions, they're called.
Okay.
Dr. David Burns writes about it in his book, Feeling Good.
Okay.
And it's a real good guide on how to let those voices come and how to speak back to them.
There you go. Well, that's listening and self-awareness is very important. I quote a guy who was on the show once. He's talking about entrepreneurial startups launching movement and stuff. And he says, for instance, if you're a tech geek and you want to start a software company, he says, make sure you hire a salesperson, because presuming they're different personality types. He says, if you're a salesperson, make sure you hire yourself a tech geek. So they were aware, in that advice, he's aware of his shortcomings and where he hires people who can, do the things that he can't. And anyway, speaking of barriers, tell us what speed bumps have you encountered along the way as an entrepreneur, and what have you learned from them? And we only have 4 hours.
Okay. Well, we didn't know what we were getting into when we got into a retail business. We had experience in a lot of other areas, but we didn't have a clue about what the world of retail is like. Mm-hmm. In all the other jobs we've had, it was me fixing a car, or me in a pulpit preaching a sermon.
Financial planning with somebody.
Yeah, sitting at an office, a table like this, and with Diane, it's one case at a time, one client at a time.
Sure.
We had offices with secretaries and hold buttons and do not disturb buttons. But in retail, you've got hundreds of people coming in the door all day long.
Right.
And calling, and it's just a zoo.
Yeah,
it's an absolute zoo. So your attention gets scattered all over the place.
Multitasking.
And then there's a number of additional skills that you got to deal with in retail that you don't have in the professions.
Sure.
And
well, how did you develop those? How did you compensate?
School of hard knocks. I mean, we failed forward. I mean, we blew it year after year, month after month, and then we'd kind of start. And we've been doing this 5 years, and we're just now starting to think that we might have a little bit of the hang of it.
You might make it, yeah.
Well, we've already made it. I mean, we made it after 5 years. We're doing okay that way.
That's a good number.
But in terms of our confidence and our abilities, we're only now starting a little tiny bit to believe in ourselves. And the more we do that, the more we realize that we don't know.
Well, that's the bottom line, is that you're not fixed and think you know everything.
Yeah.
I think if you went into a business like that, think, oh, I know everything about this, well, you're probably a missile going down fast.
Well, and that's, we have competitors in the area, and we meet them from time to time, and the minute one of them tries to tell me instantly that he knows more about the business than I do, I don't have to worry about a thing, because he's going to be gone in a year or two. No,
really. No, that open-mindedness, that willingness to pivot, the willingness to iterate, and all the learning and all that, that's really important.
Yeah, because if you think you know what you need to know, you stop looking for what you really need to know, and the business will crush you.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that's true. Well, Phil, as we wrap up, my favorite part is to hear my guests' advice for our viewers about entrepreneurship in general. I mean, what do you wish you knew before you launched, and what should people consider as they launch and grow their entrepreneurial businesses? You've got 1 minute for that.
Okay. Well, I guess I want to go back to the importance of listening to your inner voices and understanding that the barriers, whatever barriers you have, they're almost always internal. It's not about the marketplace. It's not about the competition. It's not about the opportunities. The things that are going to hold you back are what you're carrying inside. And you've got to get good at listening to that, giving yourself the space, giving yourself the freedom to let those voices come up, the negative voices, listen to what they're saying and deal with them with that. So it's an internal thing. It always has been for me, and that's all I really know what to say. As far as...
Well, you've had several transitions, and they're mostly all successful. And so I think that comes from listening. And so...
Well, and then the other thing is don't be afraid to fail, don't be afraid to try.
There you go. Well,
because if you can listen all day long.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. Yeah.
There's people that meditate.
Right?
Well, it feels good to meditate. It feels good to contemplate. But you could be the happiest man in the poorhouse.
Yeah, well, exactly. Well, you have to act.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to be on the playing field, as Teddy Roosevelt would say. So, hey, well, that's a great wrap. Good summary there, Phil. Thanks so much. A couple points I wanted to point out: listen, act, get out there in the playing field. I love Phil's comment of there's nothing else we'd rather be doing. What's your niche out there? What could you do that there's nothing else you'd rather be doing? That's a real nugget, and I thank you for that. Thanks for being here. Thanks for coming up to Wisconsin, and thanks for being on the show. And we'll join you next week on the Grow Your Biz show. In the meantime, consider use of growmedia.com to help you with building your own social media message. Thanks, take care, and we'll see you next time.